the supreme lawmaking body of the country, which is Parliament, there is no constitutional procedure to take it into confidence either during negotiations on FTA or after FTA agreements have been concluded. Now this is the strangest situation in which our constitution puts us, and this is where the systemic problem of lack of transparency arises from. Entry number 13 and entry number 14 are relating to participation in international conferences and entering into treaties and agreements and implementing those treaties and agreements. These are exclusively in the domain of the union government and in the domain of Parliament also. Whatever powers are exercisable by the union government are linked to the powers that Parliament itself can exercise. However, a dimension that must be brought in to the lack of consultation with Parliament is the lack of a requirement within the Constitution to consult with the states. If you look at the reports of the National Development Council, which is the apex body in the country, comprising of several ministers from the Union Cabinet and all the chief ministers of all the states, there is no discussion on FTAs. I have actually scanned through the last few years' reports. There is no mention of FTAs there. So the question is, to what extent is the system itself preventing disclosure of information to very important stakeholders? For the time being, forget the people. Now what I would like to say to support my point of view is official information is officially denied. And here I would like to highlight the experiences of colleagues who are part of the this whole movement here, which is very critically looking at free trade agreements. They have used the Right to Information Act to find out things like who has been consulted in the context of trade negotiations. And we did this, these applications after doing a little bit of research on parliamentary deliberations themselves. Members of Parliament have asked these kinds of questions in Parliament. And I think 2 or 3 sessions ago, a list of about 83 organizations with whom the Department of Commerce consulted was given. And that is like a typical bureaucratic answer to a parliamentary question. 83 organizations, names are there, the place where which they were there was given. When were they consulted? Was it all done together in 1 year? Because trade negotiations go through several phases. Things change, positions change, bargaining positions change. Have they all been consulted in all those contexts? Not very clear. Then, based on that information, because we knew that, okay, fine, government has on the floor of Parliament accepted that it has conducted consultations with a range of stakeholders, we asked for details of who was invited from those organizations, what views did they present, and what were the recommendations that came out of those consultations. The interesting thing is, in at least 4 instances, the Department of Commerce, which is a nodal ministry for conducting all these negotiations, they have denied access to it. And the beauty of the whole thing is there are 4 different applications in the context of Indo-EU FTA negotiations. They ask for 4 different kinds of information. The stock reply is that we cannot give you this information because it affects the economic interests of the country. So the question to ask is whether people of India, equality is the defining principle in our constitution, which means people are equal stakeholders in what is going on in this polity or what will go on in future in this polity. Do those people, 1.2 billion of us, do we matter? Do our views matter? And is there a mechanism for listening to our views?